In the bustling and noisy city, a group of degenerate second-generation officials were enjoying a bachelor party. The host was the famous journalist Nick. The main character of the party was Oren, the son of the local police chief. Alcohol, like a catalyst, made the masks that celebrities from all walks of life usually wear fall off immediately, but in the chaos of the carnival, tragedy quietly came. When a lady was having a passionate interaction with Nick, the next second,
oh my God!
A terrifying scene immediately extinguished the lust of the two. The special crime unit rushed to the crime scene right away, but the body that should have been in the room was moved to the swimming pool by a mysterious person. The deceased was a white female. Nick, the reporter, was very flustered at this point. He lied that the deceased might have accidentally drowned while swimming, but the police, with their keen intuition, realized that things were far from being as simple as they seemed, given that the party guests were of noble status and had profound backgrounds. Before the police arrived, most people had already fled in a hurry. The overloaded elevator got stuck in the nick of time, preventing the last batch of guests from leaving. Among the trapped guests were famous football stars, well-known lawyers, and even Oren, the son of the police chief. This put the special crime unit in a passive position immediately. If the case was mishandled, everyone would lose their jobs. Luckily, Oren was very cooperative with the investigation. He said he didn't know the deceased at all. Oren claimed that the girl was a bar girl hired by Nick, but in the face of Oren's testimony, Nick insisted that he didn't know the deceased. He said he was giving a speech in the living room when the incident happened. At the same time, Officer Amanda learned from another guest the deceased was in a dazed state at that time, suspected of taking forbidden drugs. Because the guests at the scene refused to cooperate, the police had to turn their attention to the body. The test report showed that the woman didn't die from drowning but from a drug overdose. High concentrations of lethal drugs were detected in her blood. It could make people lose consciousness immediately. This directly exposed the lie in Nick's statement. But what's more shocking, the forensic doctor found as much as 71 milliliters of male bodily fluid in the deceased's mouth and stomach. This showed that the deceased had been violated by multiple people before her death. Because the deceased had undergone breast augmentation, the police, by tracking the serial number of the prosthesis, finally confirmed that the deceased was Laura from Canada. Having grown up in a foster family since childhood, she ran away from home during her rebellious period, and went to the United States alone. She eventually degenerated into a bar girl to survive. Laura only knew one girl at the banquet. This clue actually led to a shelved anonymous police report. The caller was a woman with a Spanish accent. The local police, but dared not offend the second-generation officials, so they passed the case to the Special Crime Unit. This delay caused everyone to miss the best time for investigation, adding great difficulty to the solving of the case. The Special Crime Unit retrieved the surveillance footage of the crime scene right away. In the footage, the hostesses fled through the back door, covering their faces. What's more annoying was that the families of the second-generation officials pressured the police station and refused to hand over the guest list of that night. Due to Laura's special experience, all men who had contact with her at the party were involved, but in the absence of conclusive evidence, it was difficult to accuse them, so the police had to focus on Laura as a breakthrough to investigate her cause of death. But just then, Oren took the initiative to appear at the police station with his lawyer, and submitted the footage of his activities. On the night of the incident to the police, Oren was surrounded by a group of beautiful women, but surprisingly, the deceased Laura had never contacted him. The police also caught a key piece of information from Oren. Laura had intimate contact with a man that night. The party's surveillance video showed that, at 3 o'clock in the morning, Laura, with a trance look, walked out of the living room alone and headed for Nick's room. But shortly after that, Nick went into the room with another gorgeous woman. This footage became a key clue right away. At the same time, the forensic test report showed that Laura's vomit was found on Nick's bed sheet. Based on this important clue, they recalled Nick, who was about to go to South Korea, to the police station. Faced with conclusive evidence, Nick finally told everything that happened that night. He admitted that he was lingering with another woman in the bedroom, but accidentally found Laura dead on his bed. In order to avoid getting into trouble, he moved the body to the swimming pool to fake a drowning. He also revealed to the police that all the party hostesses were brought by a woman named Mary. The girl immediately became a key figure in the case. At the police station, the police hoped to uncover the hidden secrets from her, but Mary appeared very calm, and even knew all the police officers well, and knew that Officer Edward had recent marital problems with his wife. Mary flirted with Edward while talking. It seemed that something was about to happen. Luckily, Edward was an upright man and resisted the temptation in time. Accompanied by a lawyer, Mary quickly admitted her identity as a hostess, but strangely enough, Mary had never seen the deceased Laura. Under the police's questioning, she named Lauren, the owner of a modeling agency. His company was actually an emotional transaction venue, under the guise of legality. Based on this important clue, the police quickly rushed to Lauren's company to investigate, but upon arrival, due to the other person's non-cooperation, Edward had a fierce quarrel with Lauren's bodyguard. The next second, the bodyguard was immediately subdued. The other person's assault on the police just gave the police a chance to arrest. But what's more shocking was that this bodyguard, Saban, was a former officer of the Special Crime Unit. He was also Officer Benson's ex-boyfriend. Saban revealed to the police that as an undercover agent, he spent 3 full years successfully getting into the position of a bodyguard to infiltrate the criminal organization. His appearance brought a turning point to the case investigation. As far as Saban knew, Laura's death wasn't directly related to Lauren, and someone inside the police station had leaked information to him. Because it involved confidential information, Saban couldn't elaborate to cover up the truth. Officer Benson deliberately put Saban in the detention center, in front of Lauren. Lauren, accompanied by his lawyer, also underwent interrogation. He insisted that neither he nor any of the hostesses knew Laura, and emphasized that all his hostesses were legally employed, and that it was impossible to randomly hire women of unknown origin. Lauren told the police that Laura was brought to the party by a hostess named Ellie. Ellie was a woman with brown skin, but unluckily, shortly after the incident, Ellie left the United States overnight and quickly went to Colombia. Edward found the lethal drug that killed Laura in Ellie's residence. It was inferred from this, Ellie deliberately poisoned Laura after bringing her to the party, but everyone still couldn't figure out what Ellie's purpose was in doing this. The case once again fell into a fog, given that Saban, as an undercover agent, was very familiar with the criminal organization. The police asked him for information. Again, Saban revealed to the police that Ellie was originally an employee of Mia, Lauren's competitor. Before Lauren's business rose, Mia was once a top tycoon in New York's special service industry. Her clients were widely distributed among officials in various power departments. Even 2 former governors took special care of her business. Mia had extensive connections and strong power in the industry, but Lauren suddenly intervened. He had a large number of top beauty resources. Lauren replaced Mia's position overnight. The two immediately became sworn enemies. Even Mia hired thugs to intimidate Lauren some time ago. Saban guessed that Laura's death might have been planned by Mia, with the aim of destroying all of Lauren's businesses, and Lauren, also with deep scheming, was plotting to retaliate against Mia. Saban reminded Benson to be very careful, because Mia's power was intertwined, and her background was very complex, which also meant that the police would face great challenges, but Benson chose to rise to the challenge, and decided to meet Mia in person. After inquiring through various channels, the police finally found her, but the Mia in front of them was completely different from what they had imagined. She looked like an amiable farmer, neither heavily made up, nor with the ruthlessness honed from struggling in society. On the contrary, she gave people an impression of gentleness and kindness. Faced with the inquiry, Mia looked innocent and said she had 3 children, usually had to take care of the farm and her husband, and occasionally took time to run a marriage agency business. She didn't know Laura and Ellie at all, and had nothing to do with special services. Her performance put the police in a dilemma immediately, unable to convict her based solely on her words. Benson learned from the police captain that the morality squad had been secretly investigating Mia for 5 years, but finally got nothing. This meant that either Mia was wronged, or her background was so strong that the police dared not investigate further. But one wave subsided and another rose. The police investigation obviously touched some people's interests. Someone even stuffed an envelope under the captain's door this morning, which was full of dirt about the captain. When he was an undercover agent, this was obviously a threat to the police. To prevent the special crime unit from falling into a greater crisis, the captain had to hand over the case to other departments. Just then, another accident happened. The former governor died of a sudden heart attack at home, but when the police arrived at the scene, they found something suspicious.
Pants was unzipped and on backwards.
It was obviously a murder disguised as a heart attack. the caller was the governor's assistant. At first, the other person was making up lies for the governor, but under the severe questioning of the police, the assistant finally told the truth. It turned out that when the governor died, he was having a special massage with a party girl. The assistant was worried that the exposure of this scandal would damage the governor's reputation, so he hurriedly dressed him. The police also got the girl's phone number from the governor's mobile phone. At the same time, after the forensic autopsy, it was found that the governor's blood contained the same lethal drug as Laura's. The murderer who killed the governor was obviously the mysterious masseuse. Given that the governor was a regular customer of Mia, the police suspected that this was Lauren's retaliation. To uncover the truth behind it, the police quickly interrogated the masseuse. The other person said in panic, because the governor suffered from a waist disease, she went to massage him every week, but when she arrived this time, she found that the governor had been dead naked for a long time. The masseuse, worried about being involved in the matter, hurriedly contacted her agent Anna to handle it. Based on this clue, the police interrogated Anna right away. When she learned that the governor was poisoned to death, Anna was completely flustered. To avoid becoming a scapegoat in the case, she refused the defense lawyer provided by Mia, and applied to be a key witness for the police. Anna holds key evidence of Mia's criminal activities. With her testimony, the police quickly arrested Mia on the charge of organizing special services, but the other person's lawyer claimed that this was malicious frame-up by the police, insisting that Mia, who abides by the law, couldn't even afford bail. In court, the evidence presented by the police showed that the assets Mia obtained from illegal activities had long been transferred overseas, and the lawyer had been covering for her. The judge raised the bail to $2 million right away. Seeing that Mia couldn't afford the high fee at all, the lawyer paid it generously for her, and warned the Special Crime Unit that Mia had illegal evidence of many high-ranking government officials in her hands. Once exposed, it would trigger a huge political storm. At the same time, the lawyer actually knew all the privacy of the members of the Special Crime Unit very well. He implied that if they continued the investigation, their lives would be in danger. But the young and impulsive police officers didn't take it seriously. On the contrary, the captain looked worried. That night, Mary suddenly found Edward. She looked flustered and said she knew the truth about the governor's death. Just as Edward was about to ask further, Mary saw the suddenly appearing police officer and fled in panic immediately, leaving Edward looking confused. That night, the captain suddenly woke up from his sleep and was horrified to find his hands covered in blood, and Mary, with her throat cut, lay naked dead beside his bed. The captain fell into panic. Immediately, the sudden change made the case more complicated and confusing. This episode of Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, is like a wonderful crime epic. From the unspoken rules of the entertainment industry, to the sex scandals in the political arena, it vividly shows the dark side of society. The characters in the play struggle in the vortex of desire and power. Every clue is like an intricate thread, seemingly clear yet elusive. The old patriarch is deeply caught in the suspicion of murder. The forces behind are trying to cover up the truth with blood. When the sword of legal justice touches the interests of the top, can the Special Crime Unit break through the heavy fog and uncover the truth? All of this will be revealed one by one in the subsequent plot. If you like my channel, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.